I'm in a bit of an awkward spot. First of all, I want to say that my personal experience of the remaster has been great, apart from the pathfinding. I also still stand by both of my reviews. However, I cannot deny that some people have had difficulties launching this game and running it. I said in my review that this ran smoothly, and even replied to people saying, I am sure it will work on all versions of Windows, when people started asking me about it. I am sorry if my reviews or comments led you in any false direction, but in my personal experience everything ran fine. 35 hours in the game and only one crash, apart from when I was messing around with mods, but that's a different story always. And I did not know it was not on Windows 7, and it being Windows 10 only. No one ever told us that. So there we have it. My experience was good, but it had a very rocky launch. This I am sure will get fixed, but I wanted to make this video today talking about my whole honest opinion about the remaster. Talking about the game, how it should be, and the marketing. Imagine if on the 25th of March, no one knows about the remaster, not even the YouTubers, and CA on their Total War channel goes live. The stream is just some red smoke effect, maybe a whistle of the wind in the background, and a countdown of 1 hour. They post in Twitter, 16 years, ... and then post a link to the stream. I go live. No clue what is happening. No clue that it's getting remastered at all. But it's looking like it. And then they show their reveal trailer. We see it and react to it together. Or whichever YouTuber you want to watch at the time. A beautiful moment. And then it just ends. Nothing at all. CA say nothing. They then leave us to guess. We know Rome Remastered is coming, but that's all we know. 1 week later, we see screenshots of units, and then battles, and then campaign, gradually building up, and then YouTubers get their access. Meanwhile, you have the Twitter page, every single day, posting one of the new things that they added, a talking point per day, a calendar of awesomeness to count down the days to the full gameplay reveal. The announcement and launch that we had was far too chaotic. You know, I really wanted to react to this moment with you, the viewer. I wanted my first impression of the game to be recorded and shared with all of you, but sadly, I wasn't allowed to do that. And then, for most of the public, it dropped out of nowhere with a massive FAQ. A lot of the really good stuff wasn't even in the FAQ. A lot of stuff that was in the FAQ was, I don't want to say false, but it was, you know, pushing those barriers, which just seemed entirely stupid. Like, cut out the exaggerations and just put the truth in. The truth was far better. And we all, like, started streaming it, posting videos on it all at once, like 1 hour after people discovered it. All of this put together was far too much at once. It was a nightmare as a YouTuber, and I'm sure it was a bit of a nightmare for the community as well. It was too much at once. This should have been a much slower build-up. Leave a like if it was a nightmarish waste of potential, in your opinion. Or even do what Warhammer 3 did with their mini teasers. That would have been so amazing. Imagine the subtle hints to Rome Remastered getting posted like that, and the excitement that those would generate. This is how my Rome Remastered would look. You load into the game, and right here in the bottom right, like in Rome 2, you can toggle what menu you want, Remastered menu or OG menu. The menu needs another title, Toggles. Select this and this opens up every single toggle there is, and all the other settings. Some of these settings were far too hidden, like the ability to turn off arrow trails. Should be a remaster to original toggle, not in the graphics, and maybe add the intros on there too. Like this here, this is the toggles. This is where you go from remaster to the original. That is very difficult to see. Like on your first playthrough, if you don't know it's there, you are going to skip right past that. This would have made it so much clearer and much more concise. Okay, how about a UI toggle? Feral say they prefer theirs. And I sort of agree as said, but still, you have to add it. The UI was the first piece of feedback that I gave them. You know, I was able to get used to it, and I thought most people would get used to it as well eventually, but the overall hint in my point was, it's going to get a lot of backlash when people see this UI or first play with this UI. Or at least have a new UI, but in the style of the old one. Like, it doesn't have to be exactly like it, but the overall look, feel and muscle memory should be the same as the OG, in my opinion. Even if the new one is better. The units had a toggle where you could switch from vibrant colours to realism, which by the way should also be in the toggle menu that I just created out of my mind. But I think it should be a similar option for the campaign graphics as well. A realism campaign map that is more in line with Attila's look, or you can go for the cartoonier style. I would again choose the cartoonier style, but that's just me. The other people, they should have an option, I think. I like that I can filter out news, but again, I think the older system was easier to access. Why not a toggle to change it back to this? Do you know how to make sieges? Pick a map that can have them, and the option is now here. You have to click here first, and then set up your siege. You can't just dive into the siege. And I've seen a modder called Pike post quite a bit about this, and he's right, there is a load of unnecessary clicking, extra clicks that you've got to do for no apparent reason. It's like getting a free-for-all to work. First, you've got to get the factions in there. Then you've got to set them to attack mode by clicking on the shields. Then and only then, you click on the Roman numerals and you can change them to different teams. Whereas in the original, pick the faction and they auto start in a different team. And then it's just one click away to put them on the same team. I actually had to ask the developer how to do this. How do I set up a free-for-all? Me, I've been playing this game for years, over 1,000 hours in total, and I spent like 15 minutes looking for the option, figuring out how to do it. I had to ask the developer. These are unnecessary changes in my opinion. Okay, back to the marketing. Legend had a bug in-game that caused a lot of outcry. Generals would auto-adopt. He thought this was a new feature, and so did many others, including myself. He hated it, the public hated it, I hated it. I thought my new RP campaign was going to die because of this. That would really mess it up in my opinion. But it was a bug. Did they say it was a bug anywhere? No. Some public declaration on the bugs and criticisms that people are seeing and posting would have been great. This game does so many great stuff that was never advertised. The community were angered by lots of points that were bugs that were now fixed or changeable with a toggle. Did they address any of this? No. And now you have negative reviews coming in on Steam of people saying they don't like feature X or system Y. But there is a toggle in game to change those things. There was no need for that bad review, but because of bad UI, they cannot find the toggle, and because of bad PR, they just assume that's a new feature. They don't even think to look for the toggle. People say the UI is too small. There's a toggle hidden in the game settings to make it bigger, but there's another UI toggle in another completely separate setting, hidden away again, That makes some UI to do with the settlement even bigger and clearer. Many people say the AI has not improved. It has. You know, I've been playing the original and the remaster. I do AI only campaigns, AI only battles. I am, apart from the devs, the best person to speak on the AI, and I can say it has certainly improved in many different aspects and areas. Why did they not make a video comparing old AI to new AI to really settle the difference, to show the community what the changes actually are? Now, I know the devs could argue that some of the stuff I mentioned here would take more development time, which I cannot disagree with, but do we need merchants? I like the merchants, but we don't need them. However, I feel that other stuff I mentioned is much closer to must-haves. Pathfinding is a mess. When a new player comes on, they will push the unit scale right up. It's just the player psychology. Although I like that they have a new, huge unit size, it would be better off for the player without it. And maybe even without the Ultra tier too. Maybe have it so Ultra can only be used in normal custom battles. Otherwise it gets far too messy in the sieges. It can be added back in later, but launch day, people just want to max out everything, and I bet that caused a lot of bad experiences with pathfinding. Onto the multiplayer campaigns and hot seating issue. Many complaints. To Feral's credit, they did say that they have no plan for launch, implying it would come later. But one, this was only said on the Discord. Like, a lot of people would have seen that, but at the end of the day, you know, Discord is a very small, niche audience. But most importantly, day one of launch, a mod already existed for multiplayer campaigns. It can only handle 2 players, it is very early and I hear very buggy, but still it is there. The hot seat community is already working on a full, complete mod for this. Why not just give that modder 2 weeks early access, like you did with other modders, and then implement that into the game? You know, maybe give him a couple of free Steam keys of Total War games and DLCs as a reward, a thank you for it. But yeah, this could have been in the game on launch, because modders already knew how to do it. Overall, I think all of this would complete it, and satisfy the community, looking for the loyal remaster much more. Of course, stability and bug fixes, they should be a given, so that's why I didn't go over them. Again, I am satisfied with it as a version 1.0 launch. Patches will come on top of this. I am also not a game developer. I could be completely wrong. Feel free to disagree. Developers, if you want to, feel free to message me and tell me why my ideas won't work. To be clear, I don't have any hate at all to any developer, and the community should not as well. Also, the purpose of this video is more for entertainment, to put ideas forward and speculate. However, when you make Medieval 2 Remastered, please keep this in mind, because every point mentioned here could be applied there. And that's really why I am making this video. Rome's announcement has already passed. That first time experience of seeing gameplay has passed. That beautiful moment when the game launches and it smashes reviews has passed. It would be cool to see this stuff in patches, but it's more ideas for the future. More of a, I hope Medieval 2 does not make the same mistakes. One final thing, why was I the only Rome 1 channel that got to play Announcement Day? I am the largest one that still uploads, you know, regular Rome content, by quite a fair bit, and I do appreciate the access. It does honestly mean a lot, CA. But I am by no means the embodiment of this community. It was handed out to what are now mostly Warhammer channels. Other historical channels got it, great to see, and I mean no ill will at all to the Warhammer YouTubers, but they either could not play it, as it was too weird for them, or they ended up hating it and giving it a bad review on stream or video or whatever, or they did not even play it at all and it was just a wasted key. In my opinion, my level of access should have been granted to your Total War Master, Nugatorix, Prince of Macedon, Dudja, or however it's pronounced, and so many more people. I'll be honest, this video to script, it was very difficult to put together, and I might seem like I'm contradicting myself at some points. At times I hate it, at times I love it, but that's where I stand with this. There's a lot that I do like, but like with Rome 2, I see a lot of wasted potential, and you know, that alone, just seeing wasted potential, is putting me off the game. And I just thought I'll try and get all of my opinions out here, my personal experience, but also the experience of others, which also does need to be shared. Anyway, I have been MELKOR, and please comment down below what you think, and anything else you would add to this. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe and turn on notifications for more. It really helps me out. But for now, until the next one, tomorrow's video, Melgon.